Hello, my name is Shrinik Bora. Good evening to all. Now we are starting with our first webinar of the day. Greetings from Team the Bob the Builder to all the participants of Nirmiti as well as Bob the Builder 2.0. The first webinar is based on StatPro. We are going to learn the introductory parts and basics of StatPro, including the editing commands and drawing and modeling commands. So now we'll proceed with the session. But before the session, I want to give some instruction to the participants as well as the viewers. As you all know, Bob the Builder 2.0 is a competition based on designing, modeling, and analyzing the structure on StatPro. And this year, our theme of the competition is a steel tower, which will be either a transmission tower or a telecommunication tower. So basically, this entire competition is starting from today with a webinar. From 14th to 23, we will have a series of webinar of which schedule is posted on our FB page. For more information on schedule and webinars and software downloads, please go to the FB page. Software download link is also available on FB page as well as the description below the video. In the description below the video, you'll also find our link to FB page, software download page, as well as webinar registration page. Firstly, thank you for participating in this webinar. Now we'll proceed with the session of StatPro. I hope you all have installed the StatPro software. If you haven't installed, you should install it right now as early as possible by clicking down the link below given in the description. For those all who have installed the StatPro software, for those who all have installed the StatPro software, we will begin the session by StatPro window. Can you all see this window? I'm assuming that you can all see this window particularly. If you're not seeing this window, you might have some technical issues. Please feel free to reply in the live chat box. Our technical team will solve the issues. If you are seeing this window, this is the main stat window. It will be opened when you double click on the desktop icon of StatPro. Now in this, on the left hand upper corner, you will see some things as new project, open project voice, everything. Regarding the competition, we'll only need new project. So click on the new project. Then you will see another window saying new model window. In that you have 4 options: space, plane, floor, and truss. Select space in that. In the bottom part of this window, you will see units. Length units, select meter. Force units, select kilonewton. Now name your structure. Suppose today is the webinar 1, so I'm naming it as webinar 1. Now select the location where you want to store your file. I'm selecting it on desktop. Okay. After selection of the location of the file, click on next. Then you will see some window as add beam, add plate, add solid, open structure wizard, etc. Today we are only going to look into add beam. Click on finish. After this window will appear. If the total entire window is not visible in the current webinar, I will shrink this window. Give me a minute, I will shrink this window. I'm minimizing this window so that everybody can see it properly. Basically, after opening this main window, you will see a default grid. Can everybody see a default grid? Yes, I think yes. If you're seeing the default grid, on the right hand side, there will be a default grid menu named as Snap Node or Snap Beam. Here you will have a lot of options. Particularly if you're seeing properly, firstly, look into the left bottom corner of this window. Okay. I think the bottom is also not visible, so I'm shrinking it also. I think still it is not visible. Sorry for these technical issues. Can you see the coordinate system right now in the left bottom corner of the window? I hope you can. Is everybody can see the left bottom corner in which three axes are given, X, Y, and Z axis? Can everybody see it? Yes, I think. Now I'll proceed to the next thing. If you see this window properly, you will see three axes, Y, X, and Z. Particularly about StatPro, vertical axis will be named as Y-axis and two horizontal axes will be X-axis and Z-axis. So if you're seeing this default grid for the first time, you will notice that this default grid is in XY plane. So basically this is in one of the vertical planes. Now you can edit this default grid by going to edit, click on edit. Then you will see options, which plane you want, XY, XZ, YZ, and which angle of plane you want. Now we will choose an horizontal plane, which will be XZ plane. Click on OK. Then the default grid will be in horizontal plane. After that, firstly, we are going to learn about nodes and members. So we won't need this default grid right now. So click on close option on the default grid menu. The grid will disappear by itself. Then you will see on the right hand side of the window, you will see two windows. One will be node window, another will be beam window. In particularly about node window, instead, node is a lattice point. Particularly, you can call it as a joint in the structure. So every node is defined by three coordinates in the space, X, Y, and Z. So if you define three coordinates in the space, one node will be defined in the space. So now we will define the origin or one of the nodes as 0, 0, 0. So after putting 0, 0, 0 in the node table, this node will be appearing. So this node will be 0, 0, 0. So this will be origin. Now again we will insert one other node 1, 0, 0. Similarly, we will do it for 2, 0, 0. As soon as you're putting the coordinates in the node table, there are a number of nodes appearing in the main whole structure window. Similarly, now we will put some nodes along the z-axis. So it will be 0, 0, 1. Sorry, it gets 10. I will edit it 0, 0, 1. Similarly, 0, 0, 2. Go on adding nodes. After adding the nodes, we will add members. To add a member, you need to define a member between two nodes. So basically, beam number 1, you need to define from which node to which node. So as soon as you give two nodes to one member, a member will be defined. So I'm putting it, member 1 will be from node 1 to node 2. Can you see here? There's one member inserted in this window particularly. The member is modeled. Similarly, you could have node 2 to node 3. Again, another beam is added to the window. Similarly, you can go on adding such a node, such a members. There is another way of adding members. Come to this upper part of the upper part of the window. You will see in the fourth row, first icon, fourth row, first icon, you'll see add beams option. Click on add beams, start from one node, go to another node. You can also add beams in this fashion. I'm just simply adding the beams by clicking on two nodes. But as soon as you're adding the beams by add beam command, you can see the difference in the beam table. In the beam table, number of members also increasing. So you have created some kind of a planar geometry. Now we will look into the views. Particularly about views, you could see in the third row of the title bar, you could see view from positive Z axis. So this will be basically front view. In the front view, since this is a planar object, you will see a line only. Then again, you'll see a rear view, then side view, then again, right hand side view. It will be a bottom view then. At the end, you will see isometric view. Since this entire structure is in XZ plane, you will see some kind of this thing. I hope you are with me till now. See, as we are moving to the views, the orientation of axis in the left bottom corner also changes according to the view we are selecting. Again, we will go to isotropic view. Sorry, isometric view. Now we will look into the general GUI, graphical user interface of STAAD. You can see in the first row, there are some windows. Selecting the second row, there are some commands like new structure, save, STAAD editor, run analysis, etc. etc. We are going to learn each and every command which is necessary for the computation to design a steel tower. In the third row, there are views, and there are some commands like about rotation and move. In the fourth row, there are commands of add beam, add plate, add surface, add solids, etc. Now what we will do is we are going to insert a node between the members. Suppose before that we will understand what is a node cursor and what is a beam cursor. You could see on the left hand side column, the most left hand side column, you could see there is one node cursor. This is a normal cursor which have a suffix of a node. By selecting the node cursor, if you're selecting the object, only nodes will get selected, no member will be selected. And vice versa, if you select the beam cursor, which is just below the node cursor, only beams will be selected, no node will be selected. And as you're selecting the beams, those beams will also be selected in the beam table. Similarly, if you just highlight one node, one member in the beam table, you will that beam will particularly get highlighted in the structure as well. In the normal interface, you will see some things here like setup, geometry, general, analysis, and design. We will go through each section in proper detail as much as the requirement of the competition. Particularly today, we are focusing on the geometry. So as soon as we have created this planar geometry and we have selected this beam, in this beam, we are going to add few nodes. Like suppose if you want to add some midpoint. So there is one command called insert node. As you can see in this icon, there is one insert node. So click on the insert node, then this window will appear. Here are some options like how many points you want to add. So addition of insertion of node, it can be done in three ways. You could add a new point defining the distance from one node and other node. Like consider the beam is of 5 meters, and if you want to insert a node at 2 meters from the left hand node, so you could just mention right now the beam length is 1 meter, so you could just mention zero point 0.1 meter. So zero point 0.1 meter will be from 4 meter, node number 4. So if you just say add new point will be added here, insertion points. Then click OK. You can see there's one node added at a distance of zero point 0.1 meter from this node number 4. And as soon as you add one more node into the previous member, one more beam is created. You can see initially from this to this there was entire member but now this member is separated from the entire member. So instead of one member, now there are two members. Similarly, we can add a node at the midpoint. So go again, select the member, go to the insert node and click on add midpoint. Click OK. You can see midpoint node is added. Now we'll select this bigger member and we will add 5 nodes at equal distances from each other. So basically, this entire beam will be subdivided into 6 members. Go on insert node. How many nodes you want to add? 5. Say add endpoints. Click on OK. Now you can see this entire big beam is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 equal length beams. So in this fashion, you could insert beams into the existing members. I hope the things I taught about nodes and members are clear till now. We are going to look into some of the 3D objects. Now we'll go to the top view. In this top view, I'm going to select entire structure. Then I'm going to do something called as translational repeat. You'll find translational repeat in the 4th row. You can see here translational repeat command. So click on translational repeat. Then choose the axis or direction in which you want to repeat. Suppose, since this is a planar object, I want to have this kind of repetitions along y-axis. So I want to just have like 1 story, 2 story, 3 story. So particularly, I'm going to repeat this object in repeat the entire whole structure in y direction. So I'm choosing y direction. Then there is one thing, how much spacing you want between two such structures. I'm considering it as a 3 meters. How many steps you want? How many steps means how many number of repetitions you want to have. I'm giving 3 repetitions. There are other commands also, but I'm going to explain it in just after this. So I'm just clicking OK. You can see 1, 2, 3. 3 repetitions are done. Again, we will go to isometric view. You can see some repetitions has been done. So here, just the geometry which was on the ground floor is repeated to first floor, second floor, and third floor. You could imagine it this way. Now we'll do is Control Z. Control Z is simply undo command. Again, I will go to translational repeat. Again, I will choose Y direction. Again, we'll have a number of steps 3. And I'm going to have This time I'm going to have spacing of 2 meters. Again, there is some options, Recumber Bay and link steps. In the previous time, we didn't click on link steps. So now we'll see what happens if we click on link steps. See, you can see the difference. As you are clicking on the link steps, every node, every similar node is added to its preceding node by a vertical member because we are going to translation repeat in y direction. Can you see this? I'm moving the structure with the up arrow, down arrow, left arrow, right arrow. So you could move your structure using some keypad arrows. I hope the things are clear to you. Now again, I'll go to top view. See the normal floor plan, or it's not a floor plan, it's a some kind of planar structure. So again, I will select Control A. Now what we'll do is we'll do circular repeat. Suppose you have some structure, you want to rotate it about an axis. Suppose you have a structure and you want to rotate it about an axis, and after rotating in some degrees, you will see that, sorry, for some last few minutes, my voice might be a little low, but right now I think you can hear me. If you can't hear me properly, please mention your queries and technical issues in the live chat box, please. Don't hesitate to mention anything. So now we are now we are proceeding to translational. We have done the translation repeat part. Now we'll go to circular repeat part. So for circular repeat is like rotation and copying things. It's not just rotation. After rotation, the thing also will get copied in some angles. Suppose you have some structure called cone or something. So if you select one member and you repeat it circularly, because you can't repeat it translationally to generate some kind of shell, cone, or some spherical objects. So, and now you consider this entire building, and we are going to rotate it about vertical axis, which is a y-axis, through 180 degrees. So I have selected the entire structure. You can see I have selected the entire structure. Now again, I will go to the top view. Then just on the right hand side of the translational repeat, you will see a command called circular repeat. So for circular repeat, you need to firstly mention axis of rotation, that is y-axis. Then define how through which angle you want to rotate. So I'm saying just 180 degrees. Then I will have steps, number of steps, 1. I'm just having one number of steps. It will be easy for you to understand. Okay, can you see this? Entire structure got rotated through 180 degrees. You have a question how it got rotated through 180 degrees? I'll just show you. Initially, consider this particular member. This member got rotated through 180 degrees and it got here. Sorry for some background noise. And similarly, this vertical member got repeated here. Now you can see in the isometric view, you'll see some replicate structures rotated through 180 degrees. I hope the circular repeat command is easier to understand. Or we will try with some easy structures. I'm selecting the entire structure. No, I'm again going to the top view. I'm selecting top wood. And deleting it. Again, we are back to the planar object. Now, what we'll do is we can have this kind of setup. Again, we'll go to top view. Now we will have a mirror. Suppose you're placing a mirror. Suppose you're placing a mirror here in this axis. So this structure will get replicated here. So select the entire structure, go to mirror command. Now you need to insert the mirror along a plane. Since this geometry is in XZ plane, either you could have your mirror in YZ plane, which will be this plane, or XY plane, which will be this horizontal plane. I'm selecting YZ plane. So now you need to decide where you want to place your mirror. So firstly, you have decided the orientation of the mirror, which will be along this direction. Now you need to decide where exactly you want to place your beam, like here, 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 exactly. So for that, you need to specify the x coordinate. So before x coordinate, what we'll do is, again, we are closing this window. We'll Now we'll use a command called Shift B. After clicking on Shift B, beam numbers will appear in the geometry. Again, we will click on Shift B, beam numbers will disappear. Similarly, we'll click on Shift N. Then node number will appear. So we wanted the x coordinate of node 3. So again, go to node cursor, click on nodes. After clicking on nodes, you will see the coordinates of the node 2, 0, 0. So we want to place a mirror at x is equal to 2 and in the plane of yz. So now again, we'll go to beam cursor, we'll go and select entire structure. Then we'll go for mirror in yz plane at x is equal to 2. Click OK. You could see a mirror object has been created. Mirror structure has been created. Again, we will go to this window and click on Shift. Node numbers will disappear. For a fact, let's look into some node table. As soon as you're creating the structure here in the structure window, number of nodes and beams are getting added in this node table as well as beam table. So now we are looking into this geometry part. I hope the things are clear to you. If there is any query, you could post it in the comment section or live chat section. Now we will have a 5 minutes break. In this 5 minutes break, you could go through this video again and practice on your own regarding whatever I have taught or told you about nodes, beams, geometry creation, coordinate systems, circular repeat, translational repeat, mirror, and views. So I'm having a 5 minutes break. I hope. Welcome back. I hope you have no queries because I can't see any queries in my chat box. If you have some queries, please feel free to present and put up your queries in the chat box. Now we will move on with the second half of the session. Now we'll do some kind of recap. What we have learned till now. We have learned how to see the views: front view, rear view, side views, top view, bottom view, and isometric view. Since we are still dealing with a planar object, we don't need to see various kinds of view. Now what we'll do is we'll create a simpler structure. I deleted the entire structure. Just put Control A and delete. So the window is clear again. So now in this window, again I will go to geometry. So if you go to geometry, the default grid, you will see a default grid. Can you see the default grid? I hope you can see the default grid as well. If you can't see the default grid, I'm shrinking the window. Please wait for it. Go to default grid, then go to edit. Again, we will have a window, grid in XZ plane. Put OK. Go to isometric. Now we'll select this plane entire and put delete. Now we'll put some nodes. You can see these are the coordinate systems. These are the coordinates along x-axis. These are the coordinates along z-axis. Let's go to the top view. You can see this is the x-axis, z-axis, and this is entire is xz plane. We are seeing this plane from top. Now go to the node cursor, add some nodes, like put 2, 2. We're deleting this entire grid and we'll go back to the node table. Now first we'll create a square of 5 meter by 5 meter. Then we'll convert that square into a cube. So since we are creating a square of 5 meter by 5 meter size, starting from origin, our first coordinate will be 0, 0, 0. Again, we'll have a second coordinate as 5, 0, 0. Then we'll put our third coordinate as 0, 0, 5. Then at the last, fourth coordinate will be 5, 5, 5, 5. You can see 4 nodes are created, a distance of 5 meters from each other. Now we'll join these nodes to create a square. So the square is created in XZ plane. Now to create a cube, we can do it in 2 different ways. Firstly, we can insert all those nodes here and then join with defining members here in the beam table, or using add beams, or we can just use translational repeat and link members. So firstly, we will do 2 things. Firstly, we'll do it with a very basic way by adding the coordinates of the nodes. So can you imagine the 5th coordinate of the node, which will be just above the origin? Come on, guys, come up with the coordinates. I'm not going to put it up before you. So first you put the coordinate, then I will putting up. Okay, before that we'll go to isometric view. So I'm asking you the coordinates which will be just above the origin. Since the cube is of size 5 meter, obviously it will be 5 meter in the y-axis. So the coordinates of that particular node will be 0, comma 5, comma 0. See, the node is created here. Then again, similarly, I will add all the remaining 3 nodes and complete complete entire 8 nodes of the cube. So tell me the sixth node's coordinate, which will be just above this node. Come on, tell me. See, come here, put shift N. You could see this is node number 1, node number 2, node number 3, and node number 4 here. So just go to node cursor, click on node number 2. What are the coordinates of node number 2? 5, comma 0, comma 0. So I'm asking you the coordinates of this sixth node, which will be just above 5 meters above the node number 2. So the coordinates will be 5, comma 5, comma 0. You could see node 6 is also created. Similarly, give me the coordinates for the node which is above node number 3. Where is node number 3? Node number 3, 0, comma 0, comma 5. So the coordinates will be 0, comma 5, comma 5. Node 7 is also created. Now give me the coordinate of node 8, which will be above node 4. Where is node 4? See, 5, comma 0, comma 5. So it will be 5, comma 5, comma 5. See, I'm doing these things in a very basic way because to model any kind of structure, you need to have a proper understanding of 3D geometry as well as you need to have a nice imagination. Because if you can't imagine the coordinates of the structure, even if you can do it with translational repeat or there is something called structure wizard, you don't understand the structure completely and you will have some issues later on. So the basics should be clear, and for the basics you need some visualization and some understanding of coordinate geometry. So if you're having issues with this coordinate system, please after this webinar go on YouTube, learn some coordinate geometry, brush up your skills. And if you have some queries regarding this coordinate systems and all, you could please put up those queries through our emails on our Facebook page. Since we are now we'll come back to the structure. Since we have created this all 4 nodes, again go to add beam, click on complete the cube. As you are creating a beam here, there's also one more beam which is created here. So you could see beam number 10 we just created. Now we'll create beam number 11. As you create beam number 11 here, it will also get generated in the beam table. So make sure you understand this. This structure and the table, they goes in sync. See, we have created a cube. So till now we have used very basic method which is very lengthy and very time consuming. Now we will do it with translational repeat. So again we'll go to the top view. Sorry, this is the front view. We'll select all 4 top beams. Now we won't select just that. We'll select all 4 top horizontal beams as well as all 4 vertical beams. Again go to delete. Yes. Again we are back. Again we are back with the planar object. Can you see this planar object? Okay. Again put Control A, which will select all the beams. Then go to translational repeat. Obviously we're going to repeat in Y direction because this plane is XZ. Our side of the cube is 5 meter, so default spacing must be 5. And since we just want to create a cube, we could just have number of steps as 1. Okay. Oh, we have missed something. Can you tell me what we missed? Come on, guys, come up with some answers. I taught you these things just from 15-20 minutes before. What we have missed is we didn't click on the command which is called link steps. So again, put Control Z, Control A, go to translational repeat, put it in the Y direction, and don't forget to click on link steps. Okay, we have missed something in the teaching also. Here you can see some generation flags. There are commands like all, geometry only, geometry and property only. So what is this? Again, save the file first. Okay. And this, if you just select geometry only, if you just select geometry only now, only the geometry of the structure will be repeated. Suppose, think of a building which we have a different kind of properties. Properties in the same properties like sections is different. Suppose the ground floor plan have a different property sections and the first floor plan have a different property sections due to some kind of loadings. So in this scenarios, we will only repeat the geometry. We won't repeat the properties also. But since we are dealing with some kind of uniform structures, we'll go with all and click on OK. Link steps is also clicked. So our cube will be generated. See, our cube is generated. See how easy this. This is very easy, right? Rather than putting coordinates here, again adding nodes, adding nodes, then again adding members, beams, etc., etc. So since your cube is created, now we'll add some diagonals in the cube. Firstly, we'll add the diagonal in the bottom face of the cube. For that, again go to add beam, put diagonal from node 1 to node 4, then node 2 to node 3. But can you see a node in the intersection? Not, right? You can't see the node at intersection. If you can't see the node in the intersection, I ask you a question, whether these two members from node 1 to node 4 and node 2 to node 3, which are the diagonals of the bottom face, are these two members connected to each other? Obviously not. So for that, what we'll do is we'll connect these two members. We'll select these two members first. After selecting these two members, we'll go to geometry, scroll down, there are some options, intersect selected members. Then again, click on those, click on that. Two options will be generated, intersect or highlight. Click on intersect. Now the window will come up with the tolerance. So how much tolerance you want in that intersection? You could put as least tolerance as you want. I won't go into the much depth of this tolerance idea and tolerance concept because for steel structure, tolerance is obviously important. But since we are dealing with a competition and our training is focused regarding competition, which is dealing with varied participants from first year to last year, we will not go into the depth of this tolerance concept. We'll just click on OK. Now there is some kind of messages coming up. Messages prompting here. Two new beams are created. See, initially there were two diagonals only. After adding the intersection node, those two beams got created into four beams. So the stat is showing a message, two new beams are created. Click on OK. Now you can see there is one node here. Similarly, we can have this diagonal also. Go on adding this diagonal from node 5 to node 4. Again, node 6 to node 3. Now tell me whether these two diagonals are also intersecting to each other. Obviously, yes. I can show you that. So again, go to side key and no, those keypad keys up, down, left, right. Go on rotate your entire structure. You can see those two longer diagonals, the longest diagonals possible in a cube are connected to each other. How many such diagonals are possible? I think there are two more diagonals which are missing. Now we'll join those two diagonals also. Is from node 1 to node 8. Is there anyone missing? Yes, obviously. From node 7 to node 2. So you can see the longest four diagonals possible in this 5-meter cube are concurrent. Do you know the concept of concurrency? Concurrency is like if you just when two lines intersect each other in one point, it's called intersection. When two or more lines, three or more lines or three or more segments intersect each other at one single point, it is known as concurrency. But since we're just adding the members, do we have an intersection point here, intersection node? No, obviously. So how will you do it? Okay, now we'll go on, beam cursor, select all those four longer diagonals by pressing Control key also together. See, I have selected all four longer diagonals. Then go to geometry. Then go to intersect selected members and click on intersect. Before clicking on the intersection, I will ask you a question. See, last time we added intersection node at only two diagonals. So stat showed a message, two new beams are created. Tell me how many new beams will be created right now, right after clicking this intersect selected members. Do you have your answer ready? If you have your answer ready, you can click on the intersect command. If you're not, just think over it and don't click on intersect till your answer is ready. Your answer might be wrong, but at least come up with some logic and come up with your own answers. Isn't it obvious? See, we have selected four beams. We're adding one node. So those four beams will be how many? How many beams will be created? So four beams will be get converted into 8 beams. See, I'm right. You can see here, four new beams are created. Okay. So since this way we have done something, this is still we are working with the geometry and analytical model. Now, I would like to cover up some part of theory regarding axis of the stats. Like there are two concepts called global axis as well as local axis. I won't go into the much depth of global axis as well as local axis because I'm going to again repeat this part while assigning the properties to the sections. But before that, I just want to say some things. Global axis, these axis system you're seeing this here now, y axis, x axis, and z axis. This is the global axis. This is not the local axis. Local axis is according to the member. Each member have its own axis system. So basically, local x-axis of that individual member will be along the length of the member only. Can you imagine this? Just remember this thing, local x member will be along the length of the member. That is sufficient if you just remember this now. Next thing regarding global axis and local axis, I'll be covering up when we'll go to the property assigning. Sorry, there is some interruption. So again, I have to take 2 minutes break. So we will, sorry for the interruption. We had some technical issues. That's why I take a 2 minutes break. Now we are proceeding with our last part of the today's webinar. I hope you are enjoying the webinar till now. So we have created just some simple geometries. Now, suppose if you want to calculate this longer diagonal of the cube, how will you calculate this? Obviously, you could do it with a pure geometry or some trigonometric geometry. If you are good at that, it's very good. But if you just want to calculate the distance between any two nodes, there is some command here. There is one thing called display node to node distance, or you could just go for dimensions. Here there is one command, display node to node distance. Can you see this command? Click on this command, select node 1, then go for node 8. You could see this is the entire length of that beam, 8.66 meter. Again we'll go, since you know that our side of the cube is 5 meter, we'll check it. It's 5 meter. So using this command, you could measure the distances between any two nodes. Suppose you want to measure the distance between this node and this node. This central node, the centroid of the cube, and the diagonal intersection point of the bottom face. Can you calculate this distance orally? I think I can. Obviously, the side of the cube is 5 meters, so this will be 2.5 meters. But let's check whether I'm right or wrong. Say it's 2.5 meters. So STAT is just a computing tool, but your mind should also work in a proper way. Because if your mind doesn't work in a proper way, you will not be able to understand and visualize the structure, and it will create some issues with the modeling part. But you don't want this dimension right now. So again, click on this command. Just right of this dimensioning, display dimensions, node to node distance, there is one command, remove all node to node distance display. Just click on that. Every node to node distance will be removed. You could also give some dimensioning. There is one command on the left hand side of display node to node, which is you'll just feel, by the icon itself, you'll understand this is a dimensioning command. Click on that. There is something called display dimensions to view. You could have that display. So it will show every dimension of every beam. So you could see this is 5 meters, this is 3.5 meters, this is 4.33 meters, everything. Similarly, if you just want to select one beam, you could go in this beam table. Can you see this beam table? I'm just moving this beam table because you cannot see this. In this beam table, select any beam number, you will see beta angles as well as length of the member. So you don't need to have dimensions also, but if you want to see the dimensions in the structure, you could go with this. Suppose if you want to remove this all dimensions, just go to remove and remove, click, done. So today we are up to this. Again, what we'll do is we will have 2 minutes. We'll give 2 minutes to understand what is a STAD editor, because STAD editor is the fantastic thing and the most interesting thing which sets apart STAD from other structural analysis and designing software. So you could see a command here, STAD editor, just below the commands window. Click on STAD editor. A new window will appear. I hope everybody is seeing the STAD editor window. I hope everybody is seeing the STAD editor window. STAD editor window is visible or not? I hope the STAD editor window is visible to everybody. If you are in the STAD editor, you will see some things called joint coordinates. Joint coordinates is just like node coordinates. So you will see here 4 numbers. Oh, wait, I think you can't see the STAD editor window. Give me 1 minute. Sorry, I think you can't see the stat editor window. If you open the stat editor window, just see there will be something called joint coordinates. In joint coordinates, you will see in joint coordinates you will see four numbers. You could see 1 and triple zero. So what are these four numbers? These four numbers will be first, in that, one is for node number, and after that there are three numbers which will show the coordinates of the particular node. Similarly, you will see member incidences. In member incidences, you will see 1, comma 1, comma 2. So what are these three numbers? This first thing is member number, and the second and third number is for the nodes which are joined to add this member. And after every three numbers, we have a semicolon. So it is basically the stat editor representation of this beam table and node table. So again, we are clicking this stat editor. I think the stat editor might not be visible in your webinar due to some technical issues, but I think my explanation is quite clear to you. So you could understand it on your own by opening your own stat editor window. Now what we'll do is we will go to geometry again. Okay, there are some commands. Like if you just want to work with this this internal members. So to work with this internal members, you need to select all these internal members of the cube. So just select all the internal members of the cube first. See, I selected those all 8 beams. Then go to view. Then go to view selected objects only. So consider that you just want to work with the selected objects. What we'll do, go and select them and go into the view and say use selected objects only. Again, go to that view and click on this view selected objects. The main view will reappear. Similarly, we can have some kind of inverse selection also. Before inverse selection, we will learn something called as, if you just want to select the beams which are parallel to y-axis or x-axis or z-axis. So if you just want to do that, go to select. There is option beams parallel to x-axis. So after clicking on the beams parallel to x-axis, only the beams which are parallel to x-axis will be selected. Are you understanding this? Similarly, you could have select beams parallel to y-axis. I forgot to mention something. Instead, if you might be considering that, okay, these are the vertical things, but vertical things should be columns. But for the notation purpose, in the real life it can be called as a column. But for the notation sake, these are also called as beams because they're also members. So beams which are parallel to y-axis are columns instead. Again, we'll select beams parallel to z-axis. Now we will select all the beams which are parallel to x, y, and z-axis. Since we have already selected beams parallel to z-axis, we will go to beams parallel to x-axis, select beams parallel to y-axis. So by doing these things, we have selected the all outer edge beams of the cube. Now we'll go and see something called as inverse selection. Select. There is something called by inverse. Since we have selected the edge beams and we want all the diagonal beams, go to inverse beam selection. See, it is selecting all those beams which were not selected. So you can use this command for select inverse beam. Again, you will do one more time inverse beam. So this time what we'll do is it will deselect all these selected things and it will select which is not selected previously. You could play with this. Suppose you want to create a group of diagonals and also a group of edge beams. So for that, put a command called control G. Put a command of control G to create a group. Grouping is necessary while assigning the properties and some other analysis factors. So put group name as edge underscore beams. I'm putting underscore because you can't have space in this. So we are creating group of beams. So select type beam. Click on add OK. You'll see there's one group created. But after that, you will see in the bracket beam unassigned. So you have created the group, but you haven't assigned the beams yet. Again, create another group of diagonals. Go to node, go to beam, click on OK. Now select edge beams. Since we want to assign edge beams, we have selected edge beams. How to select all those edge beams? Simple. Go to select beams parallel to x-axis. Go to select beams parallel to y-axis. Again, go to select and beams parallel to z-axis. See, I've selected all the edge beams. Now, there are some methods assign methods in this create group window. Assign to view, assign to selected geometry. Since we have selected our geometry members, which we want to assign edge beams as, we will go with associate to selected geometry. Then click on associate. As you click on associate, you could see in this edge beams, in the bracket, initially it was beam unassigned. Now it is beam assigned. Now what we'll do is we'll go with diagonals. Since we have selected all the edge beams and we can select the diagonals by inverse selection, we'll go with select by inverse beam selection. And again, we will associate to selected geometry. Okay. So both edge beams and diagonals beams are assigned. Suppose you want to just highlight the diagonals, go to diagonals. There is some option here, highlight. So you also learn how to create a group of members. Now it's like 10-15 minutes remaining of the session. I will show you something interesting before we end the session. This is the most fun part and interesting part of the stat. Go to geometry. The last option in the geometry, there is one option called Run Structure Wizard. Click on that. Run Structure Wizard. In Run Structure Wizard, there are some predefined modules of various types of structures. Such you can see here: model type, truss models, frame models, surface and plate models, solid models, composite models, etc., etc. Now what we'll see is we will see some simple things such as truss models. See, you could see some predefined structure: Pratt truss, Warren truss. I think this Run Structure Wizard is also not visible to you people. Okay, we'll cover up the Structure Wizard in the next session. So, okay, whatever whatever we learned today, I will give you just a simple summary or a recap. We have learned how to design, how to model a structure in STAAD, how to create a geometry, how to see its various views, top view, front view, etc., etc. Then we have learned some commands editing, which are translational repeat, circular repeat, mirror. We have learned how to insert node, how to add beam, then how to check the distances between two nodes, how to have dimensions also. And at the same time, we have learned beam cursor, node cursor, and beam table also. How to put coordinates for the nodes, how to define a node, how to create a member using basics by putting up the nodes. Then we have learned how to intersect two originally added beams. Then after having a new node, how many beams we get created, etc., etc. So today we have something special for you in the box. Since it's a Valentine's Day today, firstly, happy Valentine's Day to all the viewers. And we'll see a very interesting structure which is created by one of our students in the college, who's in FE, whose name is Sanket. Now we'll see its structure. You'll be amazed to see a first year guy can do such a things on stat. I'm just opening his structure. Just wait and watch. Oh, sorry. I think the window got cleared. Wait a minute. I will add the window again. Sorry for the interruption. I think we need to have a 30 minutes, 30 seconds break. Sorry, my voice was muted. Okay, so this is the Valentine special treat for you all. This is the Taj Mahal model, which is created by one of our college students, whose name is Sanket. He's in FE. So this is just for your reference. You could design and model such amazing things on Stat. So there is a lot in box for you people. Obviously, you'll have a lot of questions. How he has done it? He's in first year, everything. This is basically a rendered view. After creating the geometry, tomorrow you're going to learn how to create properties, etc., and how to assign properties, then how to do analysis in the third section. So I'm just showing the glimpse of this Taj Mahal. You could see this is the geometry he has created. I'll just show you how he has created the geometry. Just a glimpse of the geometry as well. I think this is fascinating, right? You must have enjoyed this. Okay, so finally we are concluding the session. Okay, I have some instructions for you people. Those of you who haven't attended this session when it was live, feel free to ask any kind of doubts, mail me, or you could post on our Facebook page. There are some instructions for the ones who are attending right now, as well as who are going to view this video as a YouTube recording. First instruction, follow our FB page, which is Bob the Builder 2.0, because every update will be there. So you'll be up to date with our competition and all that. For all of those who are not part of the Bob the Builder, who are not registered for Bob the Builder, you could just attend all these webinars for free. So, but you won't receive any kind of certificate for this kind of stat training. But if you want to attend, you can attend it for free, but you can't participate in the competition. The participants who have registered for Bob the Builder, I think this is a good beginning for you. Practice a lot at your home. Tomorrow, there will be a practice and training assistance provided for you from 6 to 9 p.m. So that training assistance will be done with a software called TeamViewer. It will be a desktop sharing software. The details and the video of that particular software will be uploaded on the YouTube as well as on the Facebook page. So that's it for today. Enjoy your day. Create some nice, fantastic models. Practice a lot. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Post on our FB page. We are ready to answer. We have a strong technical team for your support. Just enjoy the game and just use this stat. Just play with it, play around, do some things. Even if you click here and there, nothing nothing very drastic. Some drastic things are going to happen. So just play like a child, and that's it for the session. Thank you for attending my session. I'm Shrenik Bora. I'm concluding this session. Okay, thank you. Bye.